Hey everyone, welcome back to On the Fence Movie Reviews. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Rob.
So today we're going to be reviewing Pokemon, Detective Pikachu.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
Pika Pika.
So, Detective Pikachu is a film about Tim Goodman, played by Justice Smith, who gave up his life of wanting to be a Pokemon trainer after the death of his mother and the absence of his father. But he's out one day early on in the film. I think it's like the second scene. He learns about his dad presumably had died while working on a case. So he goes back to Rhyme City to go collect all of his dad's stuff and, basically say his final goodbyes. But that's where he meets Lucy, played by Catherine Newton, who is a reporter who believes a little bit more is going on here. And he also meets Detective Pikachu, who is his dad's detective Pokemon partner. And then from there, the plot thickens and the story takes off. So, Rob, let's jump right into it. What did you like about the film?
What I liked about the film was the first thing that pops out is the Pokemon. Obviously, like just the way they look. I thought just from the trailers, I thought it was gonna look a little weird, but I feel like when they're placed in actual backgrounds and they're interacting with humans, I felt that was it didn't look. It looked good.
Yeah.
I felt it looked really good. You had mentioned it earlier before the video, but like the world, just the way the world looked. I had said this. It just looked like a Wakanda for Pikachu's almost, and it was just it was just how everything looked together. Now just like I watched the cartoon.
Okay.
And so seeing these I'm not super into Pokemon, but the cartoon was my extent of where my Pokemon knowledge came from. But just seeing certain Pokemon and what they did, I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. It just kind of pulled my childhoodness out a little. So that really flew high with me as far as what I liked about it. The characters, it's not a dislike. It's just more like I feel like this movie was made for maybe a group of age range that was maybe a little younger than me.
Yeah.
So the acting I felt was more geared towards them. There's little things that adults will catch. That's like, hey, I caught that. But little kids won't get it. But I looked at that and I was like, okay, the acting was good for what they're doing. But I mean, the acting was good and the world building I liked it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of what you said, I agree with. One of the big things I liked a lot about it was the CG, how well it was executed and how well it blended with the live action stuff. Like you said, the world building, how it all just felt like a world that was lived in. There's a part where, in Rhyme City, Pokemon live free and they coexist with humans. And so Pokemon battles are outlawed. So there's a part where they're, I don't think it's a spoiler, but they're trying to figure out what happened and trying to gain more clues. So they go to like this sort of underground battle arena. And, it was kind of really cool to see that part of it. And it almost gave me somewhat of a Blade Runner feel where not necessarily to the tone of the film, but more of the look. And it had that look to it. And I like that. I appreciated that a lot. One of the things also is Ryan Reynolds. He did really great with the voice work as Pikachu. He nailed it and kind of carried the film throughout. Justice Smith and Catherine Newton did pretty well for their roles. They weren't, like what you said, the acting, I think, it's geared towards a certain age. And so, you're not looking for depth here, but they did good with the material that was given to them. So I do say it was really fun and entertaining. Now, Rob, what were your dislikes?
You know what? For me, the dislike, again, I had mentioned it earlier, the acting, it was kind of like a double-edged sword because I know who they're going for.
Yeah.
But for me, a 30-plus-year-old man, the acting was just not geared towards me. So, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know if that's a nitpick.
Okay.
But, I mean, I guess that would be the one thing that kind of stood out. man, I'm just trying to, it's fresh in my mind, so I'm just trying to pick all those little things that maybe I just kind of didn't. You know what? I wish.
Okay.
Certain, like you were talking about that underground battle, I would have liked to see more of that.
Okay.
The movie is just more, it's Detective Pikachu, so they're doing something, and it's not really based on like the cartoons where it was just like, oh, you go to gym, you battle, get a badge. I would have liked to see more of that, but I understand that's not what Detective Pikachu is. Okay. Because from my understanding, it was something else, right?
Yeah, I think it was based on one of the Pokemon video games,
right?
And
which I've never played.
I've never played either.
So, but I mean, that's just something that I would like to have seen more. Is more maybe Pokemon fighting. But I mean, it's something not it's not anything that's gonna be like, oh man, I'm angry about it. It was it was good. That was the only thing, really, those two things.
For me, although I found it enjoyable, yes, it is for someone of a certain age and for Pokemon fans. I think you'll catch all the nods to all the mentions and appearances by all the different Pokemon. For myself, I'm not really well versed in the world of Pokemon. I was just going in blind and just saying, okay, let's give this movie a chance. So I think there was little things that I might have missed. So I know it's probably a more enjoyable experience if you know a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that because there's certain things that I'm sorry to interrupt. There's certain things that other people, like in the crowd, the audience that I was in, that they picked up on, where they got more excited about. Where I was just like, oh, I don't get it. Maybe that's something that like a true hardcore Pokemon fan would find out, but. It did not, I was not taken out of the movie in any way, but I mean, like you're saying, there's little things in there that other, Pokemon fan would find.
Yeah, and again, for me, I think it was a little bit. I mean, it's an hour and 45-minute film, which isn't very long, but for me, there were certain points where it did feel like it dragged a little bit, and I think part of the problem was. It's not a really deep narrative story. So when it starts to slow down, you start to feel it. And part of the reason why is because they do tone back a lot of the action until more of the climax towards the end. Right. And again, I had that same gripe where it was like one of the things that Pokemon is really known for is their battles. And from what I remember, the card game is all about battling. Some of the video games, you're catching them and battling. That's another thing. They had one scene where a person tries to catch the Pokemon with the Pokeball, and that's it. Yeah. The one scene. And the battle scenes, again, I think it was one scene where they go to the underground. So I would have loved to see a lot more of that, and I think it would have helped with some of the slowness, because then when it slows down, you start to feel a little bit. So they probably could have shaved
felt that.
Maybe 15 minutes off of it, But again, those aren't big things to where it's making me say, well, this film is terrible. No. Yeah. Also, the other thing I also wanted to talk about now I remember is the Ryan Reynolds. I know I said he was good, but part of the thing is that it starts to feel like it's Ryan Reynolds. Right. And so, while he's entertaining, it's still it's Ryan Reynolds dressed up as Pikachu, pretty much.
Completely agree with you.
So if you're familiar with Ryan Reynolds' comedy or even the Deadpool films, this feels very so in the vein of a PG Deadpool, where his humor is kind of similar, just not R-rated.
Yeah, but toned down
for children.
For children, yes,
exactly. And so you kind of notice that, and some parts it kind of distracts a little bit.
I got for that, me. Yeah, I agree with you. I got that feeling too. When Pikachu shows up and you hear Ryan Reynolds talking, you're like at first it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you don't really think about it, but then after a while when the jokes start to come in, when you're like, oh, that's a toned down Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. But I mean, it was good, but yeah, that is one thing that you kind of, I don't know if it might take other people out of the movie and be like, oh, that's Ryan Reynolds, but I mean, yeah, that was one thing as well.
All right, so Rob, what's your overall review, and are you gonna jump off the fence, or are you gonna stay on the fence?
You know what? I felt like this movie it entertained me. I went in there with no expectations other than, I had a mindset of when I was a young youth of when I watched the Pokemon. And so I went in there with that, and I said, hey, let me go check out this movie. No expectations. It was enjoyable for me. I liked it enough, but I don't know if I'm gonna jump off the fence and be like, oh, this is, go see this. I mean, maybe if you have children, yes, but as an adult, if you're really not into Pokemon, I mean, I'm kind of still on the fence about it. So
okay, so Rob's going to stay on the fence.
I'm going to stay on the fence.
All right, that's cool. For me, I'll just say,
I feel like you're judging me right now because I'm not getting off the fence.
I'm not judging you at all. For me,
you looked at me very weirdly. So, all right, go ahead.
I didn't look at you anyway. I just judge you all the time.
Yes, that is true.
Whatever. Anyway, for me, I'm going to jump off the fence. I'm going to say it's worth the view, worth a try. But I do agree with your assessment. If you're not really into Pokemon or you don't really care, maybe just wait till it comes. Just give it a peek when it comes out on home video. Peek over that fence. But if you're like me, who just really loves the theater experience and has to go watch the movies in theaters, go enjoy it, watch it. It's entertaining. It does have those little flaws, but what film is perfect, So I would just say jump off the fence and go check it out at your local theater. All right, guys, that's the review. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click like, subscribe, comment down below, give us your thoughts, and follow us on social media.
And remember, we'll catch you on the fence.